meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Oswego Public Library District to order. Could we have a roll call, please?
Deal, here. Martyr,
Here.
Ramirez, here. Tamlin,
Here.
Wallers,
Here.
Friedman, and Cannon. I don't have to do their names every time.
No. Okay, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everyone.
One quick point of order. Can we move 13A to after 14 in case there's anyone here to speak? Which is the walkthrough.
We'll do the walkthrough at the very end.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. And that would be for anyone who wishes to stay and do the walkthrough. Okay. Okay. I'm going to move down to 5. And we have a guest with us this evening, Logan. You know, a couple, 3 years ago, we were trying to get rid of a flag. And the closest place we could go was a fire station in downtown Aurora. So I like your idea. Very good. Could you tell us a little bit about what your plan is?
So my name is Logan Blake. I'm a Boy Scout in Troop 75 down in Naperville. But I started my scouting career in 2017, around there, for Pack 384 in Oswego, just a little closer here. I started as a bear and progressed to Life Scout currently, and I'm trying to aim for Eagle. And in order to do Eagle, I have to do a service project. And for the service project, I plan on, as he said, I'm doing flag retirement boxes. I plan on doing one at the Oswego Library and the Montgomery Library. These boxes would allow people to more easily dispose of American flags, as he said. Because, as far as I know, the closest place is the fire department, I think. Don't quote me on that. This idea came to me when I was doing the reading merit badge at the Oswego Public Library on, what is it, I think it's 34 in Douglas, right next to the Farm and Fleet, Montgomery. The proposed size of these boxes would be 2 by 2 by 4 feet, stand alone, like people standing by themselves. They'd be made out of wood. The initial structure would consist of dimensional lumber and plywood, either painted or stained. I think that would change based on what council would like. So with the wood would also change depending on how you guys would like it and whether it be inside or outside. There are no standard size requirements. We just defaulted to 2 by 2 by 4 feet, 2 in width, length, and height, 4 in height. So construction for these boxes would be expected to take 2 sessions across 2 weekends. But on top of your guys' approval, we would also need 3 fires council's approval, which would probably take a few months, fortunately. I'm excited to do this project both because I'm excited for my Eagle and because I think it'd just be nice to help the community. Because it's pretty hard to retire flags, so a lot of people just end up throwing them away, which is pretty unfortunate. I'd like to thank you guys for your time and consideration, and if you guys have any questions.
Can you tell us a little bit about retiring the flag, and obviously like there's a proper way to do that, rather than throwing it out? So what's that process like, and what does that entail?
So we go through like a full ceremony where we cut each, like the red and white stripes and the all 50 stars, and we burn each of them separately. And like separate, well, you can do it in one fire, but some people do it in separate fires.
And who would retrieve the flags then from the receptionist?
We're unsure. I don't think the group's going to do it. I think it would probably be up to the libraries.
It's in discussion with the troop right now. I think they have quite a few parties to ask, so I think based on we discussed today and everything, we'll update them and see where we go with that conversation, or we can contact the BFW and see what they say.
Everything like that.
Yeah, right, right.
Any questions?
What are you thinking about cost?
We're unsure about that. I know what isn't the cheapest at the moment. Yeah, also we're gonna, so I'm supposed to be fundraising, so that should help relieve pretty much all the costs, other than time.
Well, the cost would be on him. That's part of the process.
Oh, okay.
He has a speech, he has a
It's okay.
He's definitely, but he's covered everything.
That's why there's a question portion. Figure out the details. Good.
This,
Oh, so you guys should have received a handout and has like pictures of what our current design is, and all the color pictures are other examples, in case you guys would like to change anything.
Which one is your, this is your design on the
Yeah.
drawing?
Love this one.
Mhm.
Congratulations.
Yeah, this is really good.
Very nice.
Staff good?
Do you guys have a preference on indoors, outdoors?
Maybe be safer indoors?
I was gonna say the indoors would be safer. We're open a lot of hours.
Yeah.
Weather would be less a factor indoors.
Yeah.
I noticed that a couple of these do have locks on them. Is that standard? Do you want to keep them secure so anybody can't just like go in and grab a flag that's been deposited or?
I mean, it's not standard, we could add a lock if you guys wanted to, but yeah, it's not required by anybody.
I think it really just protects the flag,
Sure.
Yeah.
and people might put other things in there.
Right.
We've never had that problem. Much.
This is not books, right?
Be clever books.
We could tell you stories.
I was thinking that, like, do we make it the red, white, and blue, or so they don't think it's a book drop, or?
So,
Yeah.
Because I like the stained ones, but then the red, white, and blue makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
It has to be very eye-catching.
Yeah.
How big the
Yeah.
building is, people would be able to spot it really easily.
yeah, that'll bring questions. What is it? Yeah.
We figured there'd be some kind of a flag or something representing something.
That'd be great.
Love it.
If you guys see something that stands out in one of the other photos or anything that you would think you want to include in his design, or like the locks are one thing, or you have like a mail slot, I mean, that's ideal, but at the same time, if that's something you prefer.
When does he have to know, when do you have to finalize your design?
There's no set date, but I have to complete the service project before I'm 18, so I have 3 years.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Technically, I got like 3 years, but
Enough time for
Why not?
governmental
Wait until the last minute.
yeah.
The biggest issue is there's hurdles with fundraising, because we will have to fundraise, and then the council process just, it seems like it could either go really fast or it could take forever. It's really hard to say. So it's just, those hurdles, we just don't know as far as time. Ideally, if we could get some kind of a design expectation from you guys, or if you want something that's specific, and then he could draw something up, and then you can finalize it and give us the goal.
I think we're shooting to try and have things approved and this going like by the fall, like him building it by the fall, so done by the end of the year would be ideal, would be nice. But he does have some time, so.
Should we put it on the agenda for next month for final discussions?
Sure.
Yes. So we could let you know by the end of May.
Okay.
Final.
We can send copies of this to Terry and Jim too.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, if you could just highlight things that you guys do, like the colors, like scheme, or size, shape. If you have a specific location that you want to put it in, that, like, hey, it's not going to fit a 2x2, it'll fit a 2x18 inches or whatever.
Okay.
And if you want the lid to open at the top, or however you guys want to do it.
minutes. I have one more question. Where did you take your word in the mural ceremony?
Ooh, I do not. Elgin? I forgot the name.
Big timber.
Yeah, Camp Big
Big
Timber,
Timber.
yeah.
We used to do a cat log. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you guys, we're gonna step out.
Thank you very much.
You can stay if you like.
It's like we're hungry. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to the minutes.
Make a motion to approve the regular session minutes from March 19th, 2025.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call please.
Wallers,
Yes.
Ramirez,
Yes.
Camblin,
Yes.
Martyr,
Yes.
Deal.
Correspondence.
We have a lot of correspondence this month. On page 10, there is a lengthy letter that was sent to us by the Secretary of State, Alexi Julianis. He's also the state librarian. It's just regarding the elimination of the Federal Department of Museums and Libraries and how that may affect our funding. So that would be page 10 to page 12. So there's that. We also have a bunch of mail that has come through. We have a letter regarding Jefferson Street, being designated as an honorary street. That's going to be on May 8th. They have reserved this room as a backup in case of rain and we can't put outside, so it is potentially going to be at the library.
That's to be named for Earl Zentmeyer, who was the president of the board in 1964 when the library came library.
Yeah, in the letter it has a bunch of other, he had a lot of positions throughout the city. We have a thank you email regarding our puzzle swap that we do. They're not cataloged, but we just have a bunch of puzzles that people can trade them in and out. And someone expressing how much they really appreciate it, because they have someone who does a lot of puzzles and they're very expensive. I have some comment cards this month as well. There is one that would like a more heated area in the library, especially during winter. It would help the community study and encourage people to visit the library more. They say, I am cold all the time and leave to study somewhere else.
It wasn't, I did.
Can we add our names to
You can check my handwriting.
We have another comment card. We have another one that says more programs for younger kids, and it says more kids would come, and I'm pretty sure it is written by a younger kid. We have one requesting a cafe, a vending machine, and a bigger bathroom.
Cafe.
Not sure how we would accomplish.
Maybe one day.
We have a request to bring back the library road trip. We did that for a couple of years where you go around to different libraries and they stamp your log, you get entered for prizes. The group that was doing it decided not to do it this year. So they're wondering if we could do something similar, like a scavenger hunt through the downtown. And if they got them all, they could get a free book. It's like an adult summer reading activity. We have a comment saying that the blow up red man, which if you weren't here during National Library Week, they had one of those inflatable things like you see at a car dealership where the arms wave. It says, the blow up red man is such a waste of electricity and no one knows its point. So they were not a fan. We have a letter from Rails, which is
how would you describe that? It's our library system, they do the delivery, they help us get database, large database thing, and then they work with us to get the OCLC and some other items.
So like our interlibrary loans get delivered through rails from library to library. They sent a letter as well regarding the elimination of the Museums and Libraries Department and how that may affect some of our things like databases. There's a nice chart, I think on page 2, that shows you how that federal money was distributed throughout the state of Illinois, just kind of giving us an idea of what might happen to our future services regarding that. And then I also have some letters that were sent for our outreach librarian. One is from Oswego High School thanking us for attending one of their events. And then we have one of the kindergartners had our outreach department out for their Community Helpers Week. And they have some very cute homemade notes, which if you open them up, they're really cute. That's pictures. I think that is all the correspondence.
Yes.
That's it?
That's all.
That's all you got?
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on to the financials. I'm going to take a look at those. Anything that we should know about?
Revenues and expenses start on page 13, the fund balances. Pretty much all of our fund balances are right in line with where we would expect them to be. I don't have any notes that anything's unusual as far as our revenue and expense report fund balances.
Could I have a motion on 8A, please?
Motion for the approval of fund balances and revenue and expense reports.
Second.
Second. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Martyr,
Yes.
Wallers,
Yes.
Deal, yes. Ramirez,
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes. Accounts payable.
There are quite a few unusual expenses this month. As we get towards the end of the fiscal year, kind of are trying to get everything, all of our last minute purchases through before that ends. On page 24, Advantage Archive, this is to get our newspapers that we have been holding for, I don't know how many years, digitized. So that is happening. So we're getting our newspapers digitized, that is Advantage Archives. And then on page 25, under Dunco, you will see we bought a new youth services desk. Our old one, we kind of looked at it, I think we only did the Montgomery tour, had several panels that we kind of held up with tape and just was not holding out to the heavy usage in that department. So they have a new desk, and there's actually a picture of the new desk in the director's report, so you can get a visual of it if you haven't had a chance to see it yet. I am sorry, I think two of my pages are out of order here. Page 26, which is after page 27 for some reason, we have interiors for business. That is, we had ordered all new meeting room tables for the Montgomery campus. There are going to be 18 new tables in that room. We're gonna set it up so that instead of the normal 20, that room can always be set up for 30 to attend for larger groups. So we ordered more chairs than normal, and that is the fee for the chairs. I believe they're supposed to be coming, oh, I'm sorry, tables. And I believe they're supposed to be coming in May, is when we're expecting them to be delivered. Let's see. Hoopla is also on that page. That is right around 11,000. We are certainly getting a lot of use for our e-materials. Page 28, Cersei, that is the annual renewal. So that is a one-time fee. Strand Associates, that was for the work we had done on the possibility of the bridge going across the river. That is one of their fees. And then, other questions on anything else in the bills? Anything else you want?
And the archiving of the newspapers, is that the ledger, is that which?
Yeah, it's mostly the ledger, but also the predecessor, the papers prior to the ledger. It's called Oswego. I don't know all of them, and there's some older papers as well. So they took the microfilm as well as the physical papers, and then they'll digitize it all.
Digitize it all. Okay.
How far back do you go?
Turns out there's like 4 or 5 different types of papers, depending on what the title is. I think it's that. I had to, I can't remember off the top of my head, but actually the dates are on the ends of the microfilm. There's no microfilm left in it, but they'll have the dates as we go by for the tour.
And the digital will be able to be searched by
Yes.
keywords.
Yep.
That's great.
And we'll still get the microfilm back, so we'll still have our microfilm user and such, as well as having the video watch.
The bill for Strand Associates, that cost was just for their like mock-up and presentation essentially?
And for the engineering.
And for the
Yeah, so they did, the design of it, they went through it and measured, back and forth, measured it, and they came up with a couple options.
Right.
Yeah.
And if we go through with one of those options, do we get another charge for those things?
If we were, yes,
Yeah.
this is just for the design phase.
It's a lot more like it is. I don't know anything about engineering, but that's seems like fun.
Could I have a motion on the accounts payable bills, please?
Motion for the approval of the April 2025 bills in the amount of $593.82.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Harder.
Yes.
Deal. Yes. Ramirez.
Yes.
Emblem.
Yes.
Wallace.
Yes.
Okay. Moving on to the director's report, assistant director's report, sorry.
I should read that. This is for report for March 2025. In here, general summary, we are up on circulations over last year's March by about 8,000 more checkouts than we had last March, so that is good. And we're following, in general, there's kind of a lull in the winter around December, January, and then it starts picking up, and we're kind of following that track where we just see like a steady rise up through summer, which is what we would expect. You'll see on page 30, there is a picture of that new desk in Youth Services. It is manufactured in the U.S., which was something we were looking for. It is able to be assembled and disassembled if needed, so it is modular, and I think it's in 6 pieces, maybe 8 pieces. It's a, if you go over there, you will feel like, wow, that is a big piece of furniture. It's very big desk, but I've heard nothing but good feedback so far from the staff on that.
That's nice.
Page 31, I have a note, Youth Services had a bird feeder program, and someone sent in a picture of what actually happened with the bird feeder. Was the squirrels. So I thought that was kind of cute. Otherwise, unless there's questions.
I, like the new website. That's one feedback I like.
That, yes.
I want to explore it some more. I haven't done a deep dive or anything, but it looks nice.
If you haven't gone to the website, I think it was April
Fifth?
2nd. April 2nd. They have a new revamped version of the website, so we could make everything visible within 2 clicks instead of having to click. So hopefully it's a big improvement on user satisfaction as far as finding stuff.
Well, we put that on the agenda for next month and assign everyone to take a look at it. Bring some feedback. Yeah.
Sure.
Can you get it in?
I went to it the other day,
It's good.
but
You didn't know what to do. You're like, this is not what I remember.
I found what I wanted right away. 2 clicks.
Oh, that's good.
That's what we're looking for.
Okay, any questions of the assistant director? If not, could we have a motion to approve her report?
Make a motion.
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve the March 2025 director's report.
Second.
Good job. Roll call, please.
Ramirez.
Yes.
Mullers. Tamlin.
Yes.
Marner.
Yes.
Deal. Yes.
Okay, committee reports. We don't have any committee reports now. Do we need any committee? Okay, we may have something coming up for the summer that we'll talk to the board more about at our next meeting. A couple of things have come up, and we had a couple of ideas. One of them might be a road trip, so we'll see. Unfinished business, 12A. Tell us about that, please.
So it's been a while, I think, since this was on the agenda. I'm not even sure when it was approved. The mural that you all approved way back when, it is supposed to be installed this summer. Right now, he's planning to do it on August 8th, which the library is closed for our staff training day because of the location of the building, and he's got wood panels to hang. I think it's better to do it on a day when we're closed. So that will be installed, and then communications department is looking at taking the picture and having a key to explain what each one of those things is and how it relates to the community. And we may have like a metal sign made. I don't know if we know exactly how we're going to have the key and all the explanation done yet, but that is in progress as well.
Very good. Okay, moving on. Board walkthrough, we moved to the end of the meeting. First reading purchasing policy.
So I apologize, you actually just did the purchasing policy a month ago. However, when the facilities manager saw it, he explained to me that it actually does not work for facilities because anything over $500 to have to get 3 bids on, he says he can't even get 1 bid on a project that's $4,000. It's very hard to get people to come out right now for construction projects because everybody's busy. So he asked me to redo it, which I looked at other libraries in the area, what they had. The one that I gave you last month was the state's suggested policy, and I think it's probably the most strict purchasing policy you could have had. So this is based off some local libraries. I did have the attorney review it. He made a few changes. He suggested just additions and said it looked good to him. And then
So
I
this
believe,
is a rewritten.
yes, this is a whole new policy. Number 3, I know you had suggested me add in there that the board would need to be notified ASAP of any emergency expenditures.
Well, at least the library board president.
Okay.
You know, just so that there's somebody that, even his discretion to contact the board, depending on what it is.
I'll add that in there.
So the big difference with this is if it's less than 5,000, you do your best to get competing
Yes,
bids, but if you can't, you pick the best one you can get.
yes.
That makes sense. It is getting difficult to get bids on small projects, for sure.
Is it still gonna be a problem for the 5,000 to 25,000?
I did ask him, the facilities manager, to review it, and he says that this is workable for him
Okay.
as far as that goes.
So we still get the 3 bids, at least 3 bids and everything for anything over 5. Okay. Any questions or comments? If not, we'll bring it back next month for approval. All right, moving on. Demolition of the houses, the house and the office on River Street.
So you should have gotten a letter from FTC regarding the bids and what the amount is of the winning bid. We did put on there, it is still, we're gonna have to go on something higher because we still have to pay FTC, and we also still have to pay contingency, and so the voting amount is higher than the actual bid to help cover some of those additional expenses.
To the recommendations, those.
Oh, you have to vote to approve.
Right.
Yeah.
That's quite a spread. I mean, it isn't the first one we've had like that, but I'm always amazed. I think it's sometime it's like,
Well,
we get it.
Yeah, as pointed out, contractors is the, I think you did well to get as many bid, or, the construction manager did well to get as many bids as they did, and, Stokes is a local contractor, he's done demolitions for Montgomery and other folks here, so I think it's a good bid. I would suggest, or I'd make a motion to approve the bid and move forward.
If that's a motion, I'll second it.
Thank you. Any questions or comments?
Just looking up reviews for that.
What'd you say, Emily?
I'm just looking up reviews for Stokes and Son, but there's not a whole lot.
Yeah,
There's like one Google review, there's really nothing on Yelp. Just get a little like millennial injection into the mix, guys. Come on.
Miles in your new house?
Listen, I like Google stalked all the properties. Like aerial, I did the satellite view, I did the street view. I was like, oh, this picture was taken in like 2019, it's outdated. Yeah, I did the whole thing.
Going to that rapid walk. Couldn't we have a roll call, please?
Deal, yes. Martyr.
Yes.
Ramirez.
Yes.
Hamlin.
Yes.
Wallers.
yes.
Okay. Moving on to, we had estimated 95, but it came in at 40, but if you add on the others, we're still under.
Well, as long as we're under 95, we're
Right.
okay.
Okay, fire department training in the houses in those same dwellings. They want to come in after we abate hazardous material? Is
Yes.
that-
Yes, after it's abated by the environmental company,
Okay.
then the fire department, and then they come out.
We did this before
We
with,
did. We had police, and then we used, when we redid this building, we had the canine units go through before we put all new carpets and everything.
okay.
Good idea.
Yeah, love it.
Could we have a motion, please?
Make a motion to approve the use of the building for the fire department for training purposes on the buildings on River Street.
Second?
Second.
It is Oswego Fire Department?
I believe it's Montgomery.
Okay.
Just a burning the structures is not part of the training. Is there a reason we don't want them to burn down?
My understanding is they don't want to burn down, it's harder to clean up. For the
I don't think
demolition.
liability, just general liability.
Permits are difficult to get.
Christine's like,
Yeah.
get rid of the structures.
Sounds good to me. Burn them down. And, I mean, what are we training the fire department? House fire, we need you to know what you're doing.
Like training the fire.
Right.
Would you express that to the fire department? And put Christine.
Yeah, what are you doing? You know? Real world training.
Okay. Did we get a roll call? We did.
We did.
Okay.
Not on the fire department.
Not on the fire department?
No.
We have a
Okay.
motion, we're
We
discussing.
have a motion and a second. Could we have a roll call, please?
Martyr,
Yes.
Teal, yes. Ramirez,
Yes.
Hamblin,
Yes.
Wallers.
Yes.
And working budget.
So you were at the finance committee meeting, you saw a draft of that. This, we have since gotten our information from the counties. And we also, so we've made a few adjustments. Income, we are getting less property tax than we were initially thinking we would. So we have adjusted that downward. And then we have also zeroed out the grants / per capita, because that is a federal grant and we are not sure we'll get it. And we felt like it'd be better to assume we won't get it, and if we do, it's a huge bonus, and if we don't get it, we're prepared. So that has been the changes on page 35 to our income. And the expenditures, we cut a few things down. Furniture, I had at 80,000, I have cut it to 20. A lot of this stuff can wait, you know, it's not an emergency to get any of that. The staff training, we took an additional $7,000 out of staff training. Our outreach department, I think we had 80,000 and we took 55 off of that. Let me see, communications outreach, yes, we took 55,000 out of that. That was originally high to allow him to buy a whole collection just for outreach. But I think we can make it work with a smaller collection and always use books from our regular collection when needed. And if we do get the funds, we can always add that back in. IT equipment, Bob let us take 25,000 off of IT equipment for next year. And then marketing, we cut by about $20,000 as well. So we have a balanced budget expected for next year.
What does it say on page 35 that's kind of cut off on the left side?
Those are some of the notes for our facilities, things he wants to do. That is the window seals at Montgomery. If you go over there, you'll notice all the sills are rotted. They all have to be resealed. And then one of our parking lots needs to be redone. So he has those are just notes on what he was including in his estimates for next year's facilities.
Second note was about the E-rate for the phones, in case we don't get the federal E-rate, it's the regular amount without the grant, the federal grants.
Obviously, we carry over from here. So we're resealing or repaving part of the parking lot?
He's got to get some more information from contractors, I think, and we'll probably have to go out for bid, I'm gonna guess.
Here?
I think it's in Montgomery, the staff parking lot has a huge spot that it's like a, I don't know if it's like a sinkhole or what, but probably they either need to cut that out and redo that part, or they're gonna need to redo like the whole back half of the staff lot. And then there was a couple spots, I believe, in the regular parking lots as well, where there's damage that needs to be repaired.
Okay. I'm trying to think of the time frame on that. When did we open it for
2009, we had some patchwork done in 2020, but
I think the staff thought the problem is there is a drain, but the water has never gone to the drain. It always has pooled in this one spot. So there's some issue when they supported, I think, as far as the staff parking lot.
So how do we fix that? Because otherwise it's just gonna be repairs
And
ad infinitum.
they would have to maybe just grade it or something, I don't really know.
Okay. This is just an update for us.
Yes, you will vote on it next month.
Any questions? Comments? Okay, hearing none. We'll move on to 14, open session total public comment. Board will now receive public comment concerning items on this agenda, as well as communications and reports from citizens or representatives from other agencies. Such comments should not include discussion of personnel matters. It should be brought directly to the section of the director. This board meeting is a meeting of the public. It's not a meeting held in public. It's not a meeting with the public. It's the prerogative of the president of the board to recognize members of the audience. If you are recognized to address the board, you are asked to stand, identify yourself, and address the whole board. Your comments are limited to 3 minutes. Logan Blake?
That was the Boy Scout.
I know. Julie?
First of all, just thank you for all the stuff you guys talk about and decide every month. It's been really cool just getting to see everything that you guys do and all the work that you put in. So just, I appreciate that a lot. So this is no shock to anybody, but I'm here to talk about just removing the sexually explicit books from the children's and the young adult section of the library. I was thinking about this, I've been thinking about it for a while. I'm asking for us to move those to the adult section where they're still available, but where parents would have the ability to go and check them out when they feel like their child is ready to handle that material. And I appreciated the meeting I had with Terry and Sarah, that was helpful. And I hope we can have follow-up on that too, because I haven't heard anything. But I would like to talk again about just moving forward with some of the things we talked about, hearing your feedback. I would really love to have conversation. I know public comment probably can't say much to me, but I thought conversation was really helpful. And I think for just working through this, yeah, I would like that. So I'm asking for that. During the meeting, I did make several suggestions of ways that we could alert readers that a book contains sexually explicit content. I tried to come up with some solutions that were low cost, easy to implement, easy to use, nothing crazy or complicated, but just a way where we could notify a reader before viewing that there was something in the book that maybe they just want to take a look at before they check it out and hand it to their kid and don't vet it. And I was thinking about how we do this with so many other things, with movies, with magazines, video games, even videos online, but the point is that there's that disclaimer before you view the content, so you don't get into it and you're like, oh my gosh, this wasn't what I wanted. So that was what I was asking for. That's still what I'm asking for. And then also, I don't know if you guys remember, but a number of months ago, I did present some research from some of the major medical journals, apolitical, not one side or another, but they just did a real honest research on the effects that this kind of information has on kids, especially kids that aren't ready to process that. And so I'm happy to send that to anybody if you guys want the research articles and stuff. But it just led me to think, when is a child ready, and how do you know when a child is ready? And one age isn't necessarily an indication of a kid's maturity level or readiness level, and this really should be left up to the parent to decide. So I'm not asking us to ban books, but I'm asking us to help the parents to know what material is in them before we give them to our kids or take them home. And I did share this story. I've been coming here for over 2 years. I shared this at the very beginning. I don't know if
you guys remember it, but I thought it bore repeating. I have lived here for 41 years. My birthday is in 3 days. And I've lived here my whole life, and you know, I have loved the library, and you guys have never seen me until 2 years ago. Like, I am not political, I am not an activist, I'm not anything. I'm just a mom, and we just had a situation happen at this library, and that is when I started coming, was because I felt like the concerns that I've been bringing up touched my own family. And it was my 4-year-old daughter. Her grandma took her here because it was my mom. She loves the library too. She brought me here, I grew up here. She took my daughter here. They were looking through the children's books. There was a lot of cool pictures, a lot of bright colors. They brought a bunch of books home that looked like things that my daughter would enjoy. We got them home, and lo and behold, in one of them, it was a book about ballet, which is my daughter's favorite thing right now. And it just ended up being a message about a boy who wanted to be a girl, and it was all these pictures, and it was really written in a way that was geared for a child, a young child. And I disagreed with what the book was saying, first of all. And also, my daughter was just not ready for that. Like, that was not a conversation I was looking to have with her. It was not something that we needed to talk about at that time. It was just kind of a big surprise. And then my mom felt horrible because she opened this huge can of worms. It was in front of the other children. You know, it just ended up being something that was so much bigger than it needed to be. And so, anyway, I just wanted to give you a little bit of insight as to why I've been coming. This isn't just like a made-up theoretical concern. It was something that I felt touched my own family, and I just needed to say something to protect other families and maybe prevent that from happening for them. So I just want you guys to understand why I've been talking. And I think that's pretty much it. But my last comment was just, I know other families who tell me that they just simply never come to the library because they have also had similar experiences, and they no longer feel like this library is a library for them. And I don't want that. I love this library, and I think you guys do too, and I just want it to be a place where everyone feels safe, and I think it can be. I think it doesn't have to be crazy hard. I think it could just be like just some type of a system where we know what we're getting before we open a book. They don't always write the agendas on the dust jackets. You know, like you don't always know from reading the back of the book what's going to be inside. And so if we could develop a way to alert parents before they bring that home, I think that would make everybody feel safe. And I think I would love to work with you to help accomplish that. So just, yeah, thank you for
Thank you.
Thank you for coming, and thank you for your persistence, and thank you for speaking for the city.
We do not need a closed session tonight, so with that being said, we will adjourn, and then our next regular meeting is May 28th at 5:30 at the Montgomery campus. And anyone who would like to stick around for a tour of Oswego, please do that.
Only if we get to look at all the closets.
All the closets will be cleaned.
All of them.
All the, we're ready for you.
And the tornado bathroom.
I have cleaned the hallways.
Oh, she
to the
wants to see the
outside.
sub-basement.
The sub-basement.
Roll call.
There's a
sub-basement.
I mean, it's horrible, but it's amazing.
Motion to adjourn.
You guys
Thank you.
have been holding out on me.
Are you going to second that?
Second.
Okay.
Aye.
She gonna
All in
call it?
favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you all.